Aladdin and the Search for the Sultan Stone by Hannah Eliot. The sun shone brightly in the sky. Jasmine surveyed the palace grounds. There was still work to do. Tomorrow was a day of unity, and the day each year that the Agrabah celebrated their city's history. And today was the 500th anniversary. Nearby, she spotted her father, the Sultan, speaking excitedly to one of his servants, and Jasmine moved in closer to listen. The servant, Farid, shook his head. "I'm sorry, Your Sultan, but a search party failed to find the stone. The Hajari jungle is very too vast." And the Sultan looked very disappointed. "Thank you for letting me know. The Halari jungle?" Jasmine thought. She always wanted to go there, but her father said it was too dangerous. She found Aladdin and told him what she heard. Halari, by the way. Halari. "I bet he's talking about the social stone. Social, oh my god. I bet he's talking about the Sultan stone," Aladdin said. "The first Sultan of Agrabah was beloved by all, but the Sultan's brother was jealous and stole a very important stone that belonged to the Sultan and hid it behind a waterfall in the jungle. No one has ever been able to find it. Until today," Jasmine said, "because we're going to go find it." "Sounds like my kind of adventure," Aladdin replied, and he whistled for magic carpet and a bow, and together they took off towards the Halari jungle. On the way, Jasmine asked Aladdin more about the stone. "What does the Sultan stone look like exactly?" "Most people believe it's a statue of the first Sultan, but no one knows what it looked like. I wonder if that's it," Jasmine interrupted, pointing to the dense forests in the middle of the desert. "The Halari jungle." And the magic carpet glided to the ground right on the edge of the jungle. And Jasmine told the magic carpet that they would return soon. And Jasmine led the way. "The jungle is beautiful, but it doesn't seem scary at all. Why was father so concerned about me coming here?" she wondered. "It's peaceful and—" "Jasmine, look out!" Aladdin cried. Jasmine stepped just in time, and they were at the swamp. A boo squeaked wildly and pointed. Something was moving in the swamp, and it wasn't just anything. It was a crocodile. Maybe we should turn around and try a different route," Aladdin suggested. But Jasmine spotted just what they needed in two long, strong branches, and she handed one to Aladdin. And one of the branches with the other, she vaulted clear over the swamp. Aladdin used his branch to cross over after her. "Nice work, princess," he told her. "Now, let's find this thing and get out of here." But after a few steps, they came to a clearing. In the center was a giant stone that was covered in beautiful jewels. "Well, that was easy," Aladdin said, giving Jasmine a quizzical look. "Could this be the Sultan's stone?" Jasmine started to walk towards the stone, but Aladdin stopped her. "Jasmine, if the stone is right here and no one has discovered it yet," he said, "and I don't see any waterfalls around it." "Good point," Jasmine said. It could be a trap." Instead of walking closer to the stone itself, Jasmine picked up a grapefruit from a nearby tree and rolled it at the base of the stone. Zap! As soon as the grapefruit hit the stone, there was a blinding burst of light, and the grapefruit instantly burned into cinders. Jasmine gasped. The Sultan's brother must have been a powerful enchanter to make a stone like that. "Well, I'm glad the grapefruit found out the hard way instead of us," replied Aladdin. Jasmine thought of the trap Jasmine thought the trap must mean that they were headed in the right direction, but hours of searching, and she started to wonder if Aladdin had been right. Maybe they should have tried a different route to begin with. Everyone was tired and hungry and was ready to rest. But Jasmine turned around and suggested a break. She saw Abu with a bunch of berries in his hand, and they were beautiful midnight blueberries, and they looked exactly like Abu! Cried Jasmine as he popped a few berries into his mouth. Those are night bloom berries. They're poisonous. Abu squeaked and spit out the berries. It's a good thing you didn't eat those, Abu, said Aladdin. I know you're hungry, and we'll get dinner soon. They said dinner. Really? Dinner? But the berries got Jasmine thinking. Night bloom berries only grew near water. And Jasmine raced ahead to make sure, and sure enough, there was a waterfall. And Aladdin and Abu caught up. You found it, Aladdin cried. And Jasmine and Aladdin walked closer to take a closer look. And the mossy rocks led right behind the waterfalls. Eerily, Jasmine stepped onto the first rock and almost slipped into the rushing water. Slowly, they made their way across, and when they reached the back of the waterfall, there was a bare cave wall. Jasmine sighed. Had they come all this way for nothing? And she leaned against the wall to rest, and suddenly the wall moved. Aladdin, help me push this open, she exclaimed. And they pushed with all their strength, and slowly but surely the wall began to turn. And when it was finally open, the Jasmine and Aladdin saw there was a secret room. And in the middle of the secret room sat an ancient box. And, oh my God, I'm reading like this. But Jasmine and Aladdin didn't reach for it right away. They remembered it could be a stone trap. Aladdin finally scanned the room and took one step forward, slightly placing his foot on the floor. Immediately, the floor tiles began to crumble underneath the pressure. Jasmine, are you ready to run fast? Jasmine nodded, and together they bolted towards the pedestal. As the pair ran, the entire floor crumbled behind them. Loose rocks began to fall from above. They dodged left and right, and just as Jasmine and Aladdin were about to run out of floor, they reached the pedestal. Instantly, the shaking stopped. Well, that could have gone better, Aladdin said as he looked at the collapsed cavern behind them. At least we have this stone, Jasmine replied, picking up the box. Now the empty pedestal sank into the ground, revealing a secret passageway. Of course, must have been the way that the sorcerer escaped after hiding the stone, Jasmine said, and they followed the passage down and left and to the right, and they emerged in the back of the jungle on the other side of the waterfall. We made it, Jasmine said. I think it's time for us to look at the stone, Aladdin said. And Jasmine opened the box, expecting to find a statue covered in precious rubies and sparkling emeralds inside. Instead, she found a simple carving of a woman wearing royal robes. Jasmine turned it over in her hands. Oh, look, there's some writing on it, Aladdin said, as he pointed it out. Jasmine peered closely at the writing. The stone of Lila, the first ruler of Agrabah, she read. I guess the first sultan of Agrabah was actually a sultana. Aladdin smiled. This is a beautiful statue, he said, admiring it. And I'm sure Agrabah will be happy to have it back. Speaking of which, we should probably get back. At noon the next day, the people of Agrabah gathered in front of the palace. Before we celebrate, my daughter would like to speak, the sultan said. Jasmine stepped forward. We are so excited to have you here at the palace. And we are even more excited because we are celebrating something special on the 500th day of unity. She thrust the Sultan's stone into the air. The return of the Sultan's stone, she cried. And the crowd gasped and it broke out in wild cheers. Jasmine glanced at her father, whose mouth was wide open. But how did you find the stone? I thought it was in the Halari Desert, he said incuriously. It was in the jungle, Jasmine said with a smile. I'll take you there sometime. She winked. The Day of Unity was a huge success, and the people of Agrabah packed the palace grounds, eating and playing, and most of all celebrating the return of the Sultan's stone. The end.